So we went over some of the examples like connect to database and read metadata. So we had those drivers in there and we used those we had you can access driver, which allowed us to talk to the tbs.accdb. Do you guys remember what is the significance of this on line 10? What is that called? I don't know. Victor, are you speaking? Because I can't hear you. Nobody remembers? What is this called? This is called the JDBC You Can Access Bridge. It's the bridge between Java and the driver. So JDBC is from the Java side. So this is the diagram. Where's that diagram here? JDBC web tutorial. Okay. No, this is not it. Where was that? Wasn't there a diagram there? So we have our Java application, which has JDBC API, and that's what the JDBC bridge is. And that can allow you to talk to the different database drivers. So each database needs to come up with its own driver, and then you build your JDBC driver bridge. So the JDBC driver bridge that we are building over here now is the you can access. Once we build that bridge, we can use that bridge to talk to the actual database. We load the driver on line 15, and then we use our driver manager to get the connection on the URL provided on line 10. Then using the connection object, we can then decide to grab the metadata or grab the other information. So this was the metadata example. Then when we created the table, we used the connection object to create a statement object. And then the statement object then executed the update. So execute update runs SQL command. What kind of SQL commands does execute update runs? Does anybody remembers that from last week? What SQL commands are executed by execute update? Did anybody say anything?
In the chat, Oscar said update commands.
Oh, yeah, that's one of them. There are other commands too. Because this is not an update command. What command is this? This is a create command. So one example is right here. Create is one of the commands that you will execute using execute update. Which other commands will you run using the execute update method? Update, create, insert, okay.
Delete.
Delete, okay. Two more. Create, update, insert, delete. So create creates an object, insert inserts the data, right? Update updates the existing data, delete the existing data. What command do you use to make changes to an existing table's structure? Not the data. Data is update. If I want to change the table structure, like add more fields or modify existing fields.
Append?
No.
No.
You don't have any command called append. Because append is a data connotation, not a structural connotation. We don't have any command called change table.
Alter.
Alter. Alter is the command, okay? There is one other command that you will run through execute update.
Select.
No.
Oh.
Select is the only exception that doesn't work through execute update. How do you remove a table from the database? It's not a remove command. Yep, it's drop. Okay. So we got, let's sum it all up. What commands will run on execute update? Create, alter, drop, insert, update, delete. These 6 commands will work on execute update. They take the command, they run it, and that's it. They either return a 0 or 1, which it's up to you if you want to collect it or not. Then we did an example of read table data 1. This is where we ran a select command. So everything was the same except for line number 19. We wrote a select query. On line number 20, we created a statement. And line number 22, we ran the execute query, not execute update. Because execute query not only runs the SQL command, but also returns an output, which is then stored inside a result set object. Result set object is like a repository from where you can run and grab one record at a time from a loop, in a loop. So result set holds the entire data set that is returned by the execute query. Then we use a result set.next method, which allows us to automatically grab one record at a time from the result set. And then we tab into that record, and then we grab the fields, okay? So the first field is 1, the second field is 2. So since I have 2 fields, department ID will be 1, department name will be 2. And that's how I'm displaying the data back. So we looked into XML DOM. We looked into XML graphical user interface with Java DOM. Then we'll start looking at JDBC. And then we tried the metadata. We tried the create command, and we tried the read command. We still need to try the update command, the delete command, and the insert commands. We need to try those 3 commands. But before we try those 3 commands, I think the only person we're missing is Jack Lair, right? Okay. I have another activity for you to do. This activity requires me not to share my screen after I explain to you the activity. If you go under modules 7 and 8, where's that? Module 7 and 8, scroll down to the bottom. I have a couple of videos for you. The first one is, what is MVC, Model View Controller? Did you guys learn about this in any of your other classes, MVC?
I have not.
Okay, Model View Controller is an approach which allows you to divide your logic into 3 separate logics. One is your model code, which is controlling your modeling of your program. One is the view, which is the graphics of your program. And the controller is the main controller for model and view. So you basically divide up your entire logic into MVC. So anytime we talk about MVC architecture, we're talking about breaking down your solution into 3 separate files. One is your modeling file, one is your view file, and one is your controller file. So I basically put together 2 videos for you guys. So first watch what is MVC video, and then we will come back here and let's see if you guys have any questions. So let's do that. So that's probably 3-4 minute long video. So I'm gonna set aside 4 or 5 minutes. So let's meet back at 5:50. Let me turn on the recording. Let me share the screen. And can you all open the create table.java from last week? Josh, did you,
Yes.
yes, okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
With a little bit of help, but yes, I got it done.
Okay, cool. So we will now save this example as, instead of create table, we'll call this one insert data one.java. Insert data one.java.
Were you saying something? Because I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was saying that save the create table.java from last week as insert data one.java.
Are we still saving this in like our unit 8 folder? Or can we put it like,
Yeah,
okay.
just so that we don't have to move around the database file, because we'll still be working with the same database. Once we do that, we will now rewrite our SQL statement. I'm leaving the create table command down below so that I know what fields are there that I have to include in my insert command. So and then I'll remove those 2 lines. Insert into employees values. Okay. So I have the first value is character, so I need single quotes. Second value is character. Third is character, and fourth is number. So that's why I have 3 pairs of single quotes. So when you're done with this, you can then run it. When you get to see the message 1 row inserted successfully, then double click on your table, enable content, and double click the employees table, and you should see the value that we just inserted. Okay, everybody get this? So we still have half of you still in the process. So as you get, as you guys are getting done, can you give me a green check? Josh, Greg, and Cole. Are you guys coding or you guys have any errors?
So I'm getting a weird error, could not find or load main class caused by class not found exception.
Hmm.
I have closed and reopened Eclipse.
No, it's not an Eclipse issue. It's probably you put something in the wrong. Okay, go ahead, share your screen. Can you save the changes
Okay,
and then rerun it? Hold on a second. What do you have an error? Error exists.
like I don't see where the error is. But after I click this, it'll be like, it'll show up with that last message.
I do not see any files with an error. Okay, hit proceed. Insert data one. Can you try clicking on connect to DB and read metadata.java?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Connect to DB and read metadata.java
Okay, there we go.
and run that one. And proceed. Okay. You're having some errors. Can you right click on your project?
Oh, I think I know what it is. I moved them.
Okay. Go to properties.
Just a moment.
Sure. And then you have to go to Java build path. And then add external jars. Yeah. Now first run the previous one. Oh, you got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Now double click on the tbs.accdb file.
Yeah, I ended up moving those because it was causing errors in other programs.
Okay, you can enable content and then double click on employees. And then, okay, cool. Awesome. Okay,
Okay.
Josh, or did you get it?
I am getting an error.
Okay.
I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
So this is what's
Okay,
coming up.
well, basically because you're missing, did you downloaded those jar files from the
What do you mean?
Blackboard? There are jar files under
No.
Unit 7.
I don't
Those
think
are
I
the driver files. Scroll up. Yeah, those files under jar. Yeah, all of them needs to be downloaded
okay.
and then needs to be imported in the what Greg
This is-
just did.
Okay. So they just have to be put into the same spot where we put like these, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. And then you should be able to run it just fine. You have the database too, right? I did not see that. So I would,
Yeah, the TBS.
right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this was a simple insert command that let you insert the data successfully. Now, let's look at a variation of insert. So let me save this one as insert data2.java. I will hover over to rename. Okay. And I'm just simply breaking this down like this. So just work with me. I'll just change the values. So if you guys notice, all I did was I just break it down so that each line has one value. And this will be a good feeder into my next step. So just run it to make sure that it runs fine. Just make sure you change the values and then run it.
Hey, Saad, I'm still getting that same issue, even though I added them.
Okay. Let's have a look at your screen then. Okay, hold on a second. Just 1 minute. Let me move a few windows out of the way. Are these all of them? I think you're missing one. Click on add
Like you're
external
missing
jars.
on
You can
access.
access.
Yeah,
yeah, you can
you're
access.
missing, you can access one. So go back and add external jars.
Oops.
Click on class path again. No, class path. You see class path in the middle of your screen?
Oh,
Yeah, and add external jar.
that
Yeah,
one.
you're missing that one.
I
Yeah,
don't know why that one was all the way at the bottom, but
because it's all alphabetically organized.
oh.
There you
Oh, look at that. All right, thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, so in insert data 2, which was a save as of insert data 1, all I did was I broke this down into multiple lines, and I'm basically setting up my environment or my code for an input from user. So that's why I'm doing it in 2 steps, because it gets very complicated when I directly go from our previous approach to my next approach. So that's why I'm just creating this intermediate approach so that you can have only one value per line. And notice how the values that are character are in single quotes. And within the double quotes, I have a value and a comma. And on the next line, I have the next value and a comma. On the next line, I have a next value and the comma. And the very last value doesn't have a comma because it's the last value. And it's not in single quotes because it's a number. When you run it, it will tell you that one record was inserted successfully. Okay, everybody got this?
Almost done.
Okay. For those of you who got this, give me a green check so that I know who got it and who doesn't. So we are missing Jack Lear and Victor. Are you guys coding or do you have any errors? Oh, Jack Lear also got it. Okay, Victor. Victor, do you have any errors or, oh, you got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. Now let's save this one as number 3. Number 3. In this one, as I told you, that we will be accepting an input from user. So I will declare a scanner object. if you remember scanner object, probably you should.
Is that the java.util?
Yes, yes.
Where did you declare ID at? Oh, never mind. You just had a string. I didn't see it the first time.
So once you declare these variables, one for each input. Now, remember to make this a print instead of println, so that your input is on the same line as the message as opposed to the next line. And now coming down inside the SQL, this is where I will be replacing those hard-coded values with concatenated variables. So look at line 102, what I am doing. So what I did, I put a variable concatenated between the two single quotes. And I'll do that for each one of them, the same approach. Since salary doesn't need single quotes, that's why after plus, I directly wrote salary and then concatenated that by the closing curly brace, closing parentheses from line 27. Now my program is somewhat ready to accept an input from user. So I'll enter an ID, enter a name, enter a title, enter a salary. So now my application has become a little bit dynamic, that it can now accept an input from user and insert that in the database. So only Robert, Reed, and Victor still working on it. Everybody else got it. Okay. Everybody got it. Victor is still working on it. Okay. Okay. Did you guys follow what you did here?
What do you mean? Did we
Yeah.
follow?
I mean, like how I put the variable in between the single quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Because, you know, sometimes people get overwhelmed and say when they see so many concatenation operators and like, oh my God, that's confusing. So that's why I broke it down in two steps. So this is the kind of approach that you will take even in web applications or right here as well, that you will break it down into putting the values. If it's a date value or if it's a character value, then it goes in single quotes. If it's a number value, then it does not goes in the single quotes. Okay. I'm just trying to pull. Okay. Can you guys open that connect to DB and read metadata 3.java and save it as connect to DB and read metadata 4.java. So metadata 3 will be saved as metadata 4. What we will do different here is we will learn about another class besides statement called prepared statement. Prepared statement is a Java built-in class which lets you complete your SQL during runtime. So during compile time, you're not forced to provide a value. Rather, it is an incomplete SQL statement that gets completed during runtime. So why would you do that? For example, if you're taking some values from the user during runtime, then you can have an incomplete SQL statement. And then the SQL statement, when given out to the results set, it will not run it until it is complete. So that's basically what the prepared statement do. So let's start making some changes from line 14. We will create a, oops, let me turn off my caps lock. We will create a prepared statement object. Instead of statement, I'm creating a prepared statement. I know some of the other lines will error out. We will fix those, okay? So prepared statement. Now coming down to line 21, this is where you will write, I want to select all those employees where employee ID matches, I don't know the value. So that value that where I put question mark, instead of hard coding a value over there, that question mark will automatically be filled during runtime with the value that I'll provide during runtime. So my STMT object, instead of con.create statement, I will use con.prepare statement. And then I'll provide the SQL, which is an incomplete SQL, to the STMT object. Now the same 9 yards, the same stuff that we will declare our scanner object, and we will accept the input from user, java.util package. So basically, this means replace the first question mark with the value from the ID variable during runtime. That's what it means. So when the statement is prepared on line number 24, it is empty. I mean, like it's incomplete. So during runtime, when you accept a value from user, then you replace that with a variable, and then the result set will run the statement. So now when I run this program, it asks me for an employee ID. And if I enter 101, oh, second, what happened here? I do. Result set dot, oh, it should be just the execute query, not the SQL, because that is part of, okay, 101. Here you go. Now let's complete the code at the bottom so that I can also display the data and not just the column names, right? So I will comment out on this code.
So we're supposed to have the numbers after varchar.
Which line?
You have 5, 30, and 30 in your output.
Oh yeah, that is from the previous output. So yeah, so that 530, that's basically the display size.
Okay.
Yeah, that how wide the column is or how wide the field is. Okay. So now I'm commenting those two because I do not need to see the description. I rather want to utilize that logic to display the column heading, and then I'll have another loop underneath that to display the values. So I'm going the column count. This is out. Print F. So right now, when I accept an input, oops, 1 second. I made a mistake on line 38. Oh, S, not F. It's a string. Here you go. Okay. So it displays the column headings. So it traverses through the results set metadata, and every time it goes through the loop, it grabs one of the column names and give each one of the column the size 20 spacing. So each column is 20 characters wide. And then once when it is done printing all the column names in that, it creates a new line. So print column headings, then print or display data. So while results set dot next, okay, now this is a slightly different logic that I'm using than what I taught you last time. So this time I'm using results set metadata because I'm only reading one record, so, or doesn't matter how many records I read, but instead of displaying all the values in that record by column numbers, I am giving that logic over to Java to figure out how many columns are there in my SQL statement. So I'm telling, as you approach a record, for each record, that's a while loop, fetch one column at a time. So I'm going from 1 all the way down to the last column. And then you must be wondering, okay, some items are string and some are double. So what should I call? Well, you will now call on the results set a special method called getObject, which understands all kinds of objects. So now, irrespective of the data type, it will be displayed. Did I miss something here? Oh, I never, oh no, hold a second. What happened here? Employee ID, employee name. Oh, I did not put less than equals to. I made a mistake on line 38. It should be less than equals to, not less than. Okay. Still coding, Jordan, or have any errors? You got it. Okay, Robert.
Sorry.
Okay, got it. Okay. So in this example, you guys see that in the first loop, we are starting at 1. We're going all the way through the last column count, and we're displaying the column name. As a result, we have all these columns being displayed. And all these columns are a result of the metadata, which is based on the result set, which is based on the queries. When we say select star from employees, that means we want to display every field in the employees table. So that's why the result set is grabbing the entire record And then the result set metadata gets access to all the fields in that record. So that's what we are displaying here by calling the get column count. Then inside the while loop, we are going one record at a time. And every time we read a record, we are going the length of the columns and displaying the result set, but converting it into an object, which is the most generic type, which will hold all possible data types. Now let's save this example as number 5. And we will change our select query by saying, I want to select all those data where salary is greater than a question mark. Okay. And now we will accept an input from user that enter employee salary. And this will become double salary equals to in dot next double. Okay. So STMT dot set double okay. Hold a second. Is it not salary? What is it? Employee EMP salary? That's what it is. Oh, it is EMP salary. My bad. So EMP salary is the field name. EMP salary. Okay. So I am now looking at all those employees whose salary is greater than 50,000 because that's what I entered as my value. So this gives me the list of all the employees who are making more than 50,000. Again, give me green checks when you are done with this. Okay. Next, I will save this one as number 6. And I will change my select command to say, give me all those employees who are making salary, whose salary is between the first question mark and the second question mark. So just so that we can get to see an example with 2 question marks. So I'll change a few things starting from line 27 also. Enter employee min salary. So I'm going to call this one min salary. And then I'll say enter employee max salary. So we'll call this one max salary. So I'll have 2 variables. Okay. And I'll say, okay, STMT dot set double, the first question mark should be min salary. And the second question mark should be max salary. Okay, so min salary of 150,000 and max salary of 200,000. And here you go. There's only one employee who is within that range. Okay, so we got it from everybody but Jordan. Oh, got it from Jordan as well. Okay, cool. So guys, remember a couple examples before you were working with insert data 3.java. What did we do in insert data 3.java? We accepted the input from the user, and then we inserted the data inside in the database. Okay. So now I'm giving you a task to work on, and I will combine this with your break. So we will set aside 32 minutes and put you in the break. However you guys want to tackle this, take the break first, do the app later or take care of the app first and then take the break. But this is what you will do here is you will create a Java FX application solution for the same problem that you will accept the input in form elements, and upon clicking the button, the data will be transferred over into the table. Okay. So I am opening your rooms. Just give me 1 minute. There you go. So basically, if I were to save this one, insert data 3, I could very well save it as insert data 4.java. And then I can add extends application. And then I can import JavaFX. And then I can hover over and add the unimplemented methods. Now inside my main, of course, I will need only the launch args stuff, which we will take care of the other things other place. For example, I could very well move some of this stuff outside and make it global, like the initializations. I don't need the scanner object, so I can simply get rid of the scanner object. And I can literally declare ID, full name, and title to be string. And I can have a double variable salary just for me to hold those values. Okay. Oh, and then push them also outside, just like that. Okay. So these are my declarations. Now inside the start method is where I can build my entire form. And then I can have my all buttons and everything else there. So for example, border pane. So just setting my panes, the reason I created a grid pane so that I can display my entire form in a nice grid. So I can add my labels here. And I will need 4 of these labels, 1, 2, 3, 4, for full name, for title, for salary. Enter employee, full name, title, salary. Then I'll need my text fields. So I need txt ID, new text field. And then I'll need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So txt full name, txt title, and txt salary. And then we need a button, which I can call insert button equals to new button, and I can say insert data. So that's a basic look and feel that I could create. Now I can start adding these items to my grid pane. So this is also something we learned, maybe if not last week, the week before last week, is we add the grid pane dot add, and then I can start adding my label ID in the first row, sorry, first column, first row, and then I can add my txt ID in the second column, first row. Have and then I have my LBL FN, TXTFN, LBLT, TXTT, LBLS, TXTS, and I can now change my structure. So first column, sorry, second row, third row, oops, and fourth row. Now comes the button. The button can then be inserted in my insert B, second column of this fourth row. And then to display a message, let me have another label here. Let me add another label. Label MSG equals to new label, which is currently set to nothing. Then I will insert that label called MSG for my displaying the message at one row inserted successfully. So that's basically my basic setup. Now, most of you got to the setup. It's basically the functionality where we need to concentrate on. So the button, which is my insert button, I can add set on action, new event handler, action event. Add unimplemented method.
After that, you can basically copy the entire try catch block from before.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'll do next. So I will just come up here and I'll grab the entire try catch block from the main and I'll paste it down here. Absolutely. Okay. I'll just replace some of these items with my controllers from here. I could put these in variables and I could use those variables as well. So what are my variables? ID, full name, title. So ID, full name, title, and salary. Okay, so let's add that stuff here. ID equals to txt ID dot get text. Full name equals to txtf dot, what is it, F or F, right? No, FN, okay. txtfn dot get text. And title equals to txt dot get text. And salary equals to txt dot get text. Okay. However, since it is a numbered value, so we can say double dot parse double, and we can do it like that. So we have all these values coming from the text field into the variables, which I'm now inserting here. And then instead of saying system.out.println one row inserted successfully, I could just say message dot set text. Oops. Set text. Okay. Then outside my event handler, I can set my scene. Border pane, BP. So I'll add to my scene the border pane. .500 by 300 pixels. Oh, I never added my grid pane to my border pane. Border pane dot set center. And I'll put the grid pane in the center of the border pane and adding border pane to the scene. And then we have our, what is the name of my stage object? I still have arg0. So let me call this one primary stage. So primary stage dot set scene will be the scene. Primary stage dot set resizable to false, and primary stage dot show. Once I set these properties for the primary stage, I can go back to my main and I can say launch. Oh, I have an error. Oh, okay. Runtime exception. So let me go to the run config. Okay, here I have. Oh, I forgot to set the title. Yeah. Okay, so employee ID 111, employee name Jamie Ferris. Title is CIO, making 560,000. Insert data. Okay, so it says one row inserted successfully. Let me close that. TBS employees, and here we have Jamie Ferris.
So where did you send the message that it was added?
I introduced a label called MSG.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then I added that in the last row. By the way, I dropped the entire source code in the chat, this whole thing. Did everybody follow along okay? What I did? Now that you have the source code as well, so just want to make sure that you followed along okay. Okay. Victor, did you get it okay too? Okay, cool. Now let's go back to insert data 2. Go to insert data2.java. Oh, I forgot to ask Robert, did you get it too? Robert Reed? Oh, okay. Cool. Now that you are in insert data 2, save it as update data.java. Hover over and rename it to update. Now we will learn how you can update. So the command that we will use is update employees. Instead of values, we will use the keyword set. Okay. Set the employee name to Casey Cox. I'm just changing one field where the employee ID is 102, because I know I do have 102. Okay, so update employees, set employee name to Casey Cox, where employee ID is 102. The rest of the stuff will stay exactly the same. It'll say one row updated successfully. And let me run it. Okay, it says one row updated successfully. I will double check to make sure. And yep, 102 is now Casey Cox. Again, give me a green check when you guys are done with this example.
I'm in Alan's class too often. He usually does the thumbs up.
Oh, thumbs up actually disappear so quickly. That's why I make people do green checks. They stay longer.
Yeah, I don't know how Alan counts the thumbs, but he always
But
does.
he does.
Okay. Oh, Josh, you got it right. Okay, cool. Now let's save this example as update data 2. Update data 2. Now we will update multiple fields. Update employees, set employee name to Joe Allen, comma, salary to 56,000, where employee ID is 101. Okay, so we are updating multiple fields. Save the changes and run it. Then let's double click on the table to make sure. Oh, where is that? Oh,
Doesn't like the
nice.
name salary.
Oh, it's amp salary. Sorry, it's amp salary. That's why it failed. Okay, one row updated successfully. And now it is that Joe Allen is 56,000. Okay, so Jack Lear. Got it. Did someone leave? No, everybody's here. So there are 10 of you. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. So now let's save this one as number 3. So I'll take the same approach that we took before. They'll have concatenation operators, and between the two, we'll have our variable names used. So it's the same approach that we'll be using again. So employee number 101 is now Sarah Matthews with $930,000. Pretty big, pretty hefty salary. And of course, you can change this example around to accept the input from user to update. Okay, so Victor, okay, got it. Okay, awesome. Next, let's go back to, no, not this one. Update data to example. And let's save this one as delete data.java. In the delete data example, we will write delete from employees. If we stop here and don't write the where clause, then everybody, all the records will be deleted. So we only want to delete one record, one row deleted successfully. And I'll run this. It'll say one row deleted successfully. And then let's open the database to see that 101 is now gone. Let me know when you guys are done testing to see that the data is deleted successfully. Okay, everybody got it. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, Francisco's been missing. I'm like, somebody is not here. Okay. I don't know when he left. I'm like, somebody's missing. Yeah. Maybe it will, maybe it's an internet connection issue or something like that. Okay, does anybody has any questions? Okay, because now I want to discuss about a project. You guys will be starting next week. You guys will be working on a project till the end of the semester. So today is the 9th. So we will start working with Java server side starting on November 16th. So 16th, 23rd, 30th, and 7th. We have 4 weeks in which every class will learn some concepts. And then I will give you some class time towards the last half of the class to work on your project. So that's how basically we'll be taking it. And then outside of the class, you will continue to work on your project. So what you need to do now is this. Let me give you some parameters here. So the web, it'll be a web-based project, okay? Or just give me 1 minute here. Let me grab something. Just 1 minute, okay? Okay, now go to the units. Go to the units, and in the units, scroll down. Past units 7 and 8, you will find a final project. So in the final project, you guys will be executing a solution to a problem. That solution will require HTML, CSS, JavaScript, databases, and Java Enterprise Edition technologies like JSP and servlets, which we'll start to learn about next week. In this project, we will learn about how to create a logging and logout process. So you will be incorporating logging and logout process. We will learn how to insert data from a web application into a DB2 database. So you will have one page in your web project, which will be about an insert form that will grab the data from the user and will throw it back in the backend. You will have one page to update the existing information. You will have one page to delete the existing information. And then you will have one page to display the report, like the data that's in the database. If you want, yeah, so that's basically, so you have a login page, a logout page. Those are two links. And then you have an insert, update, delete, and select. So it will be around 6 pages that you will be building your solution on. Now, what I would like you to do is this. I want you, between today and next week, Wednesday, you need to come up with an idea of something that you can do all of these things with. For example, a student in the past created a dog shelter application. So she had a login page where you could log in, then you could insert a new dog that is coming into the shelter, or you could update the dog that is already in the shelter, or you could remove a dog that has left the shelter, or you could run a report in which you can see all the dogs that are in the shelter and log out. So you got to pick up an idea as to, it could be any idea. It could be employee, it could be a product, it could be a service, any idea that will revolve around these 5 principles. Do you guys understand this? Okay, so what I would like you to do is, when you work on the idea this week, also start building your HTML theme template. So how, what colors, what page size, you know, so start working on the idea and the basic template for your HTML page, and maybe start writing some CSS for that. So that's what basically I want you to start working on today. So next week, I will check back with you to ask you, what is your idea and how far along are you in your template? Any questions, anybody, about this? So you won't be getting any more homework assignments. You will rather be working in and outside of the class in your project. There is a rubric, and when you are done, there'll be a final project submission link right here, which we'll look at it on December 7th. Okay, so that's all for tonight. And starting next week, we'll be going into the Java Enterprise Edition.
So we'll be
Good night,
learning
everybody.
coming up.
Say again?
So coming up, we'll be learning how to do a login.
Yeah. You will be learning all of these things. I just want you to come up with your theme as to what you will be doing your project about, and start building the template. And you will be learning about all these operations in the next couple of weeks. So as we learn an operation, you will be able to incorporate it in your site, but you will only be able to incorporate it if you have something built, right?
So I was just looking at the my grade section. So we're not having a test. It's just this as our final?
Yes.
Or-
yes.
okay.
Yeah, you don't have a final exam in this.
That's
course.
nice.
This is it. So from now on, you don't get any quizzes, you don't get any assignments, you just work on the project. Okay?
That works for me. especially with the no more quizzes or assignments besides this one.
Yep.
I like that double.
What about database assignment number 2? That's in the my grades, and I was not able to find that.
Yeah, you won't be able to find it because I am not assigning that to you. So don't worry about that.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Okay.
Alrighty. You have a good night. Thank you.
you too.
Yeah.